It ain't going to be the decade. It ain't going to be the decade. Yeah.
Welcome, the Gamer Man's Lounge. Awaken to play.
I'm surfing TikTok on my phone, looking for wonderful content, especially when I'm at my doctor's office waiting for my appointment. But then again, my For You page has been basically getting hammered with nothing and nothing but those manifest posts where the creator asks someone to like their manifest video for good luck or something like that. And there's also those Family Guy reposts where you see clips of Family Guy on top of some goofy ass phone gameplay. You're one of the lucky people that managed to get a new Xbox Series console or a new PlayStation 5 for Christmas. Oh yes, you got your new console. Pretend this is the new Xbox controller, and you're trying to find games that's worth playing for your new next-gen console, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. But game hunting today is a nightmare. Everything's going to complete chaos because there's this constant rat race of somebody wanting to cause the biggest shit show of the year, and it's going on constantly, and it's creating domino effects and Jenga effects that is beginning to affect our everyday lives. You're once again having to cook your ramen through a microwave ramen cooker in the microwave. Yeah, let's say you beat inflation. It's not just the money, it's also the ability. As a matter of fact, even though you beat inflation, you might as well just toss an extra couple 24 packs of ramen. As a matter of fact, out of all the things and groceries that you have to make sure you get plenty, absolutely, to help you last, but also out of all the food you get at the grocery store, you have to cook something on an air fryer, microwave, oven, use boiling water like those cup ramens, and be done with it. Good luck trying to make something from scratch, unless you learn to use the microwave, an air fryer, or you have to go. If you want spaghetti and meatballs, and you don't want it from Denny's, you have to go get meatballs from the frozen food section, go get a package of pasta, and then go get the sauce, and then grab one of those microwave pasta cookers, like the one I used on my chickpea pasta video when I reviewed the chickpea spaghetti. It's like the ramen maker, but like in a container big enough for cooking spaghetti. Because here's the thing, you have to also worry about dodging Karens and Kyles in the works and the worse. As a matter of fact, can't stick around too long. That's something you have to deal with alongside having to stay out of everybody's way. Because you don't know when at any time, in any moment, someone could come in locked and loaded with firearms. Still want a nice and more fresher meal? Well, you might want to consider ordering something through Grubhub, or just getting something through the drive-thru, or getting a to-go order from your local Olive Garden or Red Lobster or some other fancy restaurant. I mean, you're having to be careful with everything you do, whether indoors, outdoors, or in the comfort of your own home, because, I mean, if the wrong pair of eyes lay on you and you do something those pairs of eyes don't like, we don't know what could happen. If you want to go and shop the Steam Winter Sale without having to get a hold of retro re-releases, or getting something from the adult-only market, or basically going through games that released like a quarter of a decade and earlier, and you're looking for a game that really kind of gives your new RTX ray tracing enabled card for a spin, yeah, that search was not easy for me. And guess where I had to go? I unlocked her since Christmas Eve. It's been a couple of days later. Then, yeah, managed to did all that over Christmas weekend. Amazing. This is one of the biggest evolutionary achievements ever done. One of the evolutionary achievements ever done in a adult-only game. As a matter of fact. Well, due to reasons, I can't play more of that game, but at least we gave you like a safe for work preview. But no, this game does seriously need to get patched a lot. As a matter of fact, there's a glitch going on with her hair that needs to get figured out. Yeah, that patch needs to get figured out. The optimization needs to get figured out too. Like, for crying out loud. And from what I've heard, this is an Unreal Engine game. Okay, that and the teacher needed something new that keeps her warm. Yeah, about that. And this is the least risque thing I managed to get from the sale because, well, especially considering the fact that I got a new cord to hook my MetaQuest 2 for PC VR without having to use the AirLink. I can just use the wired link. It's a third party, because the first party seems to be unreasonably expensive as hell, but hey. This has VR. This goes to show the crazy stuff has been happening to me too. As a matter of fact, I'm having to deal with numerous internet outages in weird timings, like whenever I'm near a holiday. I dealt with that one power outage where there was no wind, there was no storm, there was no rain. The power just mysteriously went out, and when I walked out the door, I heard a car just go off, go vroom, in a very hasty manner. Like, I had a technician over to have my internet fixed. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is over the holiday season. Oh, I had to go get computer parts to build me a new computer. I had to basically... Well, I had to basically replace the TV in my living room. Alright? Yeah, and in my bedroom, my TV died. And I have to get a new TV for my bedroom. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's going crazy. It's crazy. It's things have been going wild. But you don't want me to air out my grievances. You want me to answer your question that you have asking. You're asking, what's going on? What is going on? Well, I already said it at the very beginning of this video. This decade is not the decade. It is not going to be the decade. Now, with that totally said, I need a quick drink of my tea. What the hell? Yeah, At this point, I'd rather chug the damn bastard. What the hell is going on with these damn straws? Alright. Well, let's get started. I've been saying time and time again that game hunting has been more difficult than ever because you're not just sinking money, but you're sinking hours and maybe literal blood, sweat, and tears, or blood, sweat, and tears to get your hands on this game, and you're spending hours downloading it depending on the storage size and the internet speeds, and it better be worth it, right? So with that totally said, games today is being difficult to be made because, yeah, you have corporate greed And you also have Creative Freedom taking quite the gutting. I mean, finding a game released today that is not a retro re-release is not easy. And there may be situations where, well, many would end up just mastering the Japanese language and would go and import the game, considering how bad localization has been doing lately. I mean, at this point, you might as well have no choice but to even consider trying out gacha games. Or a gacha game or two. Like Azure Lane. And Genshin Impact. Oh yeah, that has a really big storage requirement size. Talking like 40 plus gigabytes. Yeah. Well, Azure Lane. There's Azure Lane, Action Time in. At the end of the day, in this timeline, you're stuck with most of the time with no choice but to consider cooking this using those microwave ramen cookers I just showed you. By the way, happy 45 years, Maru-chan. And with that stated, it sounds like as if we are, at the end of the day, most of the time, relying on entertainments on screens, written on books, or on computers, televisions, computers, physical books that you read. Our entertainment options that we are relying on is movies, music, anime, manga, books, novels, light novels, movies, TV shows, cartoons like Family Guy, and most importantly, video games. Video games. And speaking of video games, it is going to be very tough to find a game released today that you are going to like. It's either try your luck in the gacha or go backwards. However, I did show you those retro re-releases that were made for your PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch, and also released on PC via Steam. You could also check out goodoldgames.com. And that's the thing that we definitely like about PC gaming. It's more than one market we can go to. It's Steam, also Good Old Games, okay, maybe Epic Game Store, or Uplay if you can stomach it, but let's say you want games that are more because you turned 18 or you are in your 20s and you want something more for the people in their 20s. Well, you could search Steam, you could search Good Old Games, but you could search Jast, Denpasoft, Faku, DL Site. You have tons of markets to search around. However, for consoles, you're stuck with one store. You have to find the game on disc that will work with your PlayStation 4, which should obviously say something at the top of the box art. That totally said. So, rely on carts and discs, or go to the PlayStation Store, the Xbox Store, or the Nintendo eShop. Now that is obviously something you're going to want to keep in mind about. But now, with that totally said, well, it's either try your luck in the gacha, or go backwards in video game history. Now, you already saw an example of retro re-releases. Those are for your modern consoles because they're retro re-releases released on your modern platforms, whether PC or your PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo console. Now, with that totally said, alright, you got your retro re-releases. However, video game collecting traditionally, getting a hold of NESs, SNESs, Genesis, PlayStation 1 discs, PlayStation 2 discs, Xbox 360 discs. Those are examples of traditional retro game collecting. That is tougher than ever. However, you can utilize the backwards compatibility that is made available. Yes, there's a backwards compatibility catalog for your PlayStation and your Xbox Series console. Now, PlayStation, I'm talking about PlayStation 5. Something you're going. Well, they did do a PlayStation Plus tier where they can add in like legacy PlayStation titles. We're talking about PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. But PlayStation 3, you need to play your PlayStation 3 games in the cloud. Something you're going to want to keep in mind about. But Xbox has Xbox Classic, Xbox 360, Xbox One. So utilizing those backwards compatibility catalogs is something that you definitely want to do. However, what I also want to go ahead and bring up is a brand that I have been checking. Well, let's just say a brand of retro gaming solution. Blaze Evercade. The Blaze Evercade brand is a brand of retro gaming consoles that are basically designed for retro game carts that would carry multiple games in one cart. So each cartridge would carry multiple games at a time. Interesting. Not only that, but however, the emulation is pretty damn solid and they have multiple consoles. I took a look at the Evercade VS earlier, got my hands on the handheld. Yes, there's the new handheld that is called the Evercade EXP. I will get a hold of that when I can. I am still hoping to get a hold of that, because this is an upgraded handheld with an extra game cart. And not only that, those game carts cost $20 each. Per game cart is $20. A brand new cartridge, $20. As for the consoles, yeah, now you kind of see the idea. Retro game collecting made more convenient and more affordable compared to traditional. Let's say you do the gacha game grind. Alright, you do the gacha game grinding, your daily grinds, you're grinding up those gems and you're saving up those primo gems, like say for example, Genshin Impact. But let's say on your desktop computer, you play Genshin Impact, you play Counterside, you play Action Taimanin, but you lose access to the internet because of an internet outage. No problems. If you have a motherboard with Wi-Fi built in, hey, that's great. Otherwise, you might want to consider Wi-Fi adapters, even the ones that you can plug on a USB slot. Yes, this is the smallest one. I'm not kidding. This is the smallest Wi-Fi dongle ever. I had to deal with a smaller flash drive. I mean, it was on sale. Okay. Now I'm having to deal with a small-ass Wi-Fi adapter, which I also got on sale. Alright, who keeps doing this? Okay, TP-Link, you need to calm down. Please calm down. But, however, changing your Wi-Fi from your home internet to your mobile hotspot is something that will definitely get you back online, until you can basically manage to do your daily gacha grinds. So, that's great. And this will and you don't have to worry about missing a login day or missing a day of doing your dailies. So, that's great. It's great that things like this is around. It's great to have motherboards with built-in Wi-Fi, because connecting to Wi-Fi in an emergency situation, especially when it comes to your mobile hotspot, is something that's definitely something. Also, speaking of losing access to the internet, anyway, now that we're segueing back to physical media, stored on carts, discs, and etc., if you don't have a Blu-ray player, then you might want to consider one now. Figured I'd get that earlier while I was getting the chance. And I figured this is perfect. Let's say you're sick and tired of video games and you want to watch something. You want to watch some animes. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Now, after numerous incidents, let's just say if you don't have a Blu-ray player, you're going to want to get one now. Because I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to scroll down. Yeah, you're not going to find that series on High Dive anymore. probably due to licensing complications. Until they get the licensing back, this is your only legal means. Same here with that. Like I said, games stored on carts cartridges and discs. If you do traditional game collecting, that would be easier for you to say that. But if we're considering PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, and vice versa with Xbox, I mean, Nintendo Switch, those are examples of physical media in modern times. This saves storage on your Nintendo Switch and your SD card plugged into your Nintendo Switch. Kinda like that. With that totally said, and with considering the fact that I had to give these quick tips out just now, just really goes to show, nah. Nope, this really is not going to be the decade. And pretty much, I'm gonna say that when it comes to my New Year's Day special, or part 2 of my New Year special. Don't trust the New Year. You can't do that anymore. You're gonna want to be careful, be cautious, and consider these tips I just give out, and it will definitely help you out surviving this decade, because we don't know how long the shenanigans will last, but it could eat up an entire decade. If not, probably 3/4. Up to 3/4. Or probably a little bit more than up to 3/4. Go fish. The shenanigans. It's the shenanigans that's been happening at the final half of last decade, and it's carrying over to this decade, and it's happening worse than ever. And we don't know. We don't know how long is it going to be. We don't know what's going to stop it. Really, to be honest with you here, this is something you're going to want to be keeping in mind on as we pretty much go further in this new decade we are in. That totally said, 2020 proved it, 2021 proved it, and also 2022 proved it. This is not going to be the decade. So with that totally said, that is all, and I will be looking forward to you in the next video. Peace out. This is a video product made by a fellow gamer man. We hope that you enjoy the content, and we also hope that you enjoyed the shenanigans. We'll be looking forward to you in the next video. Peace out. Heyo!